My brother and sister, if your heart feels heavy, if everything that once felt familiar now feels exhausting, pause. This may not be punishment. This may be preparation. Allah does not move you forward without first reshaping your heart. Sometimes He removes comfort, creates distance, and allows pressure, not to break you, but to prepare you for a new life. Stay with me, because what you're feeling right now may be a sign that Allah is taking you somewhere higher. There are moments in life when the heart feels unusually heavy, when motivation fades, emotions feel overwhelming, and even simple tasks seem exhausting. In Islam, this heaviness is not always a sign of Allah's displeasure. Often it is a sign that Allah is moving you through a spiritual transition. Just as the body feels strain when it grows stronger, the soul also experiences weight when it is being reshaped for a higher purpose. Allah does not punish a believer by drawing them closer to Him. When heaviness comes with increased awareness, reflection, or longing for change, it is often a form of divine preparation. Old habits, attachments, and comforts begin to feel burdensome because they no longer align with where Allah is taking you. This internal pressure signals that the heart is being redirected towards something purer and more meaningful. The Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alayhi Wasallam taught that Allah tests those He loves. These tests are not meant to break the believer, but to awaken them. Heaviness slows you down so you can listen, reassess, and realign your life with Allah's guidance. Rather than resisting this feeling, turn to Allah through dua and patience. Trust that this weight is temporary and purposeful. On the other side of it lies clarity, growth, and a deeper connection with Allah, one that could only come through this moment of transition. Growth in Islam is rarely born from ease. More often, Allah removes comfort before He grants growth, because true transformation requires leaving familiar ground. When life begins to feel unstable, uncomfortable, or uncertain, it may be a sign that Allah is preparing you for elevation. Comfort can keep the heart settled in places it has outgrown, while discomfort pushes the soul toward change and reliance on Allah. Many of the prophets experienced periods of hardship before receiving honor and clarity. This pattern teaches us that Allah's wisdom unfolds through challenge. When comfort is taken away, the believer is forced to turn inward, reassess priorities, and strengthen their connection with Allah. What once felt safe may begin to feel restrictive, not as punishment, but as a signal that it is time to grow. Removing comfort also purifies intention. When external ease fades, sincerity emerges. A believer learns to worship Allah not because life is easy, but because Allah alone is worthy of devotion. This shift deepens faith and builds resilience, patience, and tawakkul. Though the process can feel painful, it is purposeful. Allah never removes something without intending something better. The discomfort you feel today is shaping the strength you will need tomorrow. By trusting Allah during these moments, the believer discovers that growth, clarity, and new blessings often lie just beyond the loss of comfort. There are moments when Allah removes people, opportunities, or situations from our lives, and it feels like loss. The heart grieves, the mind questions, and the soul feels unsettled. But in many cases, what feels like loss is actually divine detachment. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, separates us from what no longer serves our faith, growth, or destiny, even when we are too attached to let go on our own. Divine detachment is an act of mercy. Allah sees what harms us spiritually, emotionally, or morally, even when it appears beneficial on the surface. When something is taken away, it is often because it was distracting the heart, weakening tawakkul, or delaying the believer from becoming who they were meant to be. This separation creates space for healing, clarity, and renewal. The Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alayhi Wasallam taught that Allah tests believers to elevate them. Loss strips away false reliance and teaches the heart to depend fully on Allah alone. Though painful at first, detachment softens the heart and redirects it toward what is purer and more lasting. And instead of seeing these moments as punishment, believers are encouraged to view them as protection. Allah never removes something without a reason, and never closes a door without preparing another. With patience and trust, what once felt like loss becomes the beginning of freedom, growth, and deeper closeness to Allah. Emotional pressure is one of the most powerful tools Allah uses to refine the heart. When feelings become heavy through sadness, uncertainty, or inner struggle, it often signals that the heart is being prepared for a new stage of life. Just as fire purifies gold, emotional pressure removes spiritual impurities, false attachments, and misplaced reliance, leaving behind a heart that is stronger and more sincere. In these moments, the believer is forced to slow down and turn inward. Superficial comforts lose their appeal, and the heart begins to seek meaning, truth, and closeness to Allah. This pressure exposes weaknesses not to shame the believer, but to heal them. It strengthens patience, deepens empathy, and builds resilience that ease alone could never produce. The Prophet Muhammad, Sallallahu Alayhi Wasallam, taught that tests are signs of Allah's love for His servants. Emotional strain awakens dua, increases humility, and reconnects the believer to sincere worship. Through this process, intentions become clearer, and faith becomes more deeply rooted. Though uncomfortable, this refinement is temporary and purposeful. Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. The emotional pressure you feel today is shaping the heart you will need tomorrow. When relief arrives, you will realize that this difficult season was not meant to break you, but to prepare you for what Allah has already written next. When Allah prepares a believer for a new chapter, He does not only change circumstances, He reshapes the person within. A new life requires a new version of you, one with stronger faith, deeper patience, and greater trust in Allah. If everything remained the same inside, the heart would not be able to carry the blessings, responsibilities, or tests that come with what is next. This inner transformation often begins quietly. Old habits start to feel heavy, familiar comforts lose their appeal, and the heart becomes restless with its current state. This is not confusion, it is alignment. Allah is refining your character, purifying your intentions, and teaching you lessons that can only be learned through discomfort and self-reflection. The Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alayhi Wasallam taught that Allah looks at the hearts and actions of people. Before opening new doors, Allah strengthens the heart so it can walk through them with humility and gratitude. Patience replaces impulsiveness, tawakkul replaces control, and sincerity replaces attachment to outcomes. Though this process can feel lonely and demanding, it is a sign of divine care. Allah is elevating you, not abandoning you. Embrace the growth, even when it feels heavy. When the new chapter unfolds, you will realize that the version of you Allah shaped during this season was exactly what you needed to live it with faith, strength, and peace.